Hey everybody, this is Tito Bort, CEO at Altisales, and I'm here for another SDR Superstar series. I'm excited because we recorded a few different sessions with different roles, account executive, sales enablement, and now we're back in the SDR world. Today, I actually have two SDRs from the same company that have been doing incredible work. It is Jake Woodridge and Mallory Adamson from Yarkstik. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
Yeah. I am super excited because when we chatted in preparation for this recording, you blew my mind with the amount of work you had done that was non-traditional, and it was yielding incredible results. So that's what we're going to be exploring today. For those of you that are tuning in, everything from direct mail and very personalized emails, getting very smart on how we structure that. But before we go too deep, let's first give people some context, because the same strategies don't always work for the same persona, for different personas, or for different types of accounts or different products. So why don't we start, Mallory? Do you want to tell us a little bit more about Yarkstik and what you guys do at a company?
Yeah, so Yardstik is a human security platform. So in simple terms, we do background screening plus verifications, really in a multitude of industries, but really taking the safety component beyond simply helping businesses and communities run a background check. So we can help with verifying licensure, certification, you name it, specifically within the gig economy, childcare tutoring space, youth sports area as well. So number of industries, but beyond screening, really.
Okay. So to put it in like words of those people who aren't in your industry, if I'm Uber, I need to verify that my drivers aren't murderers. Therefore, I need to run some sort of background check and a lot of other stuff on them just to make sure that my potential clients who are using the Uber app are safe, and my Uber driver is not going to eat my Uber Eats food or kidnap me when I'm driving. Therefore, I need to verify all that. And with so many drivers, it's a problem. So there's a easier, faster, better way. Did I get that?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, pretty much. And it's specifically in like the driving space, like making sure that they have up-to-date and valid vehicle insurance. Their motor vehicle record check is clean. Making sure the vehicle is registered under their name. So those are a few kind of specific use cases that a lot of our competitors, they're stopping at a background check, whereas we go beyond that with making sure it's the right person for the job.
Can you check how many speeding tickets they got lately or stuff like that?
That's in the MVR. Yeah.
Okay, cool. That'd be fun. When I use Uber Eats, I love to get the guy that got the most speeding tickets. That means he fast, so
who gets there faster?
Here faster. So cool. Okay, joking aside, let's get into sales development stuff. So, like, as part of your outreach, you both recently got promoted, but you were SDRs then a couple of months back, and these strategies work really, really well. So, on your daily basis, how much inbound, meaning demo requests, contact us forms, versus warm outbound, call these like webinar attendees, trade shows, scans, blah, 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 whatever else, versus how much cold outbound, meaning Uber has never heard of you, you just decide to reach out? What was your split on that?
I would call it very, very heavy on the outbound side. 90% outbound, most likely, and probably 10 to 20% inbound coming in through advertising or through our website, contact us, get started form, but a heavy emphasis on outbound.
Okay. And then were you measuring your success, at least for your like comp purposes, or your whatever CEO coming and saying, hey, good job? Was that based on like meetings held per month as your primary metric, or like revenue close? Like how quick are your sales cycles here?
Yeah, so in the past, a few of the metrics we've been measured on are meetings held and SQLs. So that's essentially our way of saying opportunities generated that are now in our sales process. We had the meeting and it's a viable opportunity for Yardstik. And we've since in the past quarter or so moved strictly to measuring on SQLs. So simply the opportunities generated. So if we have a meeting with a customer and they have 20 different requirements that we don't have capability on and we can't necessarily help them, that's not an SQL. So an example, like someone has screening requirements in 3 different continents, that's not something we can do at this exact moment. So that's not going to turn into that opportunity. So if that makes sense.
I won't open the whole can of worms of like how fair or unfair that might be for an SDR who's like trying to hunt for big deals, and then he gets the biggest company he's been hunting for years, and then the requirements are beyond the scope of work, and how that could demotivate employees. We can leave that for another day. I wrote a lot of blogs on SDR compensation, all that, but that's interesting. So SQL, so actually there's a high bar for you all doing good enough research to make sure that the clients you're reaching out to fit the right profile. So if they're too big or too small, they might get disqualified, and you wouldn't get compensated for it. So you guys are paying a lot of attention to that. Mallory, respond to this one. How many kind of like SQLs were you supposed to be getting every month as your quota? And how many were you either individually or you both able to get in your like best months or best quarters, however you guys measure it?
Yeah, I'd say so. It's evolved. I mean, not gonna lie, everyone has good quarters and bad quarters. That's just the nature of the game. But right now it's set so that we are shooting to have 21 SQLs in a quarter. And I'm pacing for 128%. So nothing outrageous, but that's also kind of in the middle of a role transition here. So, I mean, Jake's had months too where he has absolutely crushed it and been gosh darn near 200%. And he has had those deals that he's been chasing for forever, and that they're finally coming back with excitement to connect with us. So I would say there's definitely quarters where we're, really crushing it and getting closer to that 200%. And there's some where, you're not quite hitting the mark. But right now our team is firing on all cylinders. So it's been exciting.
Yeah, that's cool. And a lot of like leaders, especially those who haven't been SDR leaders, like CROs, VPs of marketing, they think that the ramp of the SDR should be quick. And what's funny is I know what you're saying. Like you're working some companies forever. Like there's months where you've had good conversations and they push back. They say, call me in 3 months, and then how you do when you follow up. And at the beginning, it's very much hunting. But then if you're smart about it, you build a little bit of your farming capability within cold leads even. So yeah. It's cool.
Absolutely. I like to call it professional persistence.
Yeah, that's
staying
right.
with folks and meeting them where they're at, because oftentimes timing isn't right when you reach out, but 2 months down the line, it is. So
yeah, first impressions really matter too. And people, they get flooded with their inboxes, but they do remember an email that stands out, or, if someone was actually respectful when they said, hey, not right now, but let's keep in touch. So
correct. I love that. So those are some of the wow moments that we can provide, prospects that we're trying to go get meetings with. Let's dive deeper into that. Like, what is your secret sauce for success? Seems like you've been doing social, email, phone, snail mail, video, like combination of all of these.
Yeah, I would like, one thing that I always bring up is just like the word multi. We're taking a multi-channel approach. We're reaching out to multiple departments at a company. The decision maker and key players in our sales process could range from the founder CEO to the HR manager, to the director of operations, to the head of trust and safety, to the chief product officer, you name it. So we're casting a relatively wide net, and we're using a lot of different ways to get in front of them. So you kind of mentioned it. We utilize email, we utilize phone calls, we utilize direct mail in certain situations. We're using a lot of social, utilizing LinkedIn, and a big one too that Mallory is an absolute rock star at is video in our cadences as well. So it's a lot of different ways we get in front of prospects. It's a lot of different departments. It's a lot of different levels within companies. So just a multi-faceted approach.
Yeah, and let's dive deep. I want to give kind of like the audience meat that they can like look at and reverse engineer and do on their own. So Mallory, tell me more about like some of the unconventional things your team has done that like most SDRs wouldn't do, but that have brought great results.
Yeah, I'd say there's three that really stand out. The one is being really creative and having fun with your emails. So personalizing it enough where you actually took the time to listen to a CEO on a podcast or see a post that they made on LinkedIn and make it relevant to how your business can actually impact what they're doing. So being really like hyper personalized in those emails and smart about it. And then Vidyard is a tool that we use for videos. We use them in LinkedIn. So if someone connects with us, we'll send them a follow-up video. We'll use it as a step in our cadence where we have a generic or an industry generic video, or maybe you're not saying their name, but it's, hey, Mallory from Yardstik. This is how we specifically help your industry. Let me know if you're open to talking. And then we do get really, really personalized and just follow-up emails of, you caught someone on the phone. Hey, now's not a good time to talk. They give you the click and then say, hey, no worries. I'm going to send you an email. And then you send them a follow-up video of your face on their website, pointing out specifically what you're seeing and how you can impact their business. So that's the second one. And then the third is the direct mailers, kind of our wild card of, we just came up with the idea, had fun with it. And we're like, well, let's see if this actually works. And we went into some specifics to just buying things on Amazon, packaging it, tapping marketing shoulder, putting it out. And then we got good results. So we're excited to continue with that method. So that's three answers, but kind of a lot there.
There's so much because I want to help the audience kind of like look at each of these three perhaps and go deeper. So I'm going to start with the one that seems easiest to execute, which is Vidyards on LinkedIn. Like, wait a second. So is your LinkedIn Connect request blank? Or do you say like, I want to send you a video? Like, what do you do?
Yeah. It's a step in our sales off cadence to connect with someone. And then if someone connects with us, I mean, we found that Jake realized this, we'll get a lot of views of our videos on Friday afternoons. So we're trying to think of like optimal times to, hey, so-and-so connected with me. I'm going to send them a personalized video. And we've played around with, hey, message, here's one economic impact idea that I had for you. Send that message. And then I'll send a separate message right after that of a 40-second intro video of me on their website with their name on this app that's called Make It Big. So it's flashing their name and then they see that. And it's not just like them assuming it's a generic video. And our click-through rates in our watches are pretty high. So shout out to Vidyard on that one.
He's got a whiteboard sometimes too. I just grabbed it. And I just making sure like, here's where I'd fill out their name. And then this is backwards, so I'd have to mirror the screen, but just say it's Jake from Yardstik and write hey Tito up there. So
yeah, you got the app, Tito. Nice.
I got it. I mean, I got it after you told me I should get it. This is really cool. So here's the workflow. You're going to create a personalized video for every prospect that connects with you. Well, do you create a video per prospect? What if 3 people at one company have connected with you? Shouldn't you just send one video per company?
I've done that as well, where it'll be like, hey, Alti sales, and I'll create it kind of a little more generic. And then I could put, hey, Alti sales on the Make It Big app, for example, and then you send it out. So there's, the connecting requests that maybe the person's never on their LinkedIn. So maybe I'll see that and not waste my time, maybe sending a video. So you kind of have to think through like the best use of your time, but that's a great point.
I love it. So workflow for SDR is build a sequence where one of the steps is connect with them on LinkedIn. How do you know if they connected with you or not? Do you need to check that manually, or have you enabled any smart notifications on LinkedIn where it lets you know every person that connects with you? I haven't explored this area too much.
So within SalesLoft, they have an integration with LinkedIn where you can see the person's profile right on their person page or whatever it's called on SalesLoft. And you can see if they're a first, second, or third degree connection. So when that step comes up, you can very easily see that right there on the screen. Or if you don't have the proper license on LinkedIn to be able to utilize that integration, there's a button to link out to their LinkedIn profile right on SalesLoft as well. So it's one click to see what level of connection they are.
Wow. Okay. So you get their, you know if they're connected with them. You have a connect request. You have a connect request step on your sequence. If the connect request, they're already a first degree connection because you connected in the past, you just mark done, you skip. If it's not, you request to connect. And then later on, you get to your Vidyard step, which is a generic task on in your case, sales software, in your sales engagement tool that says LinkedIn, send personalized video. Are you recording the video the same moment that you're about to send it? Or do you record a video per company to start with before you upload prospects? When do you record that video?
Yeah, so I would say we have those kind of 80% of the time when someone's not connected or they're not the absolute A++ prospect where you're going to spend a lot of time making many personalized videos for them. That's where we use more of a generic, like industry specific type of video that can be sent across companies, all within, let's just say, the gig delivery space. So does that make sense? And then as far as, and we'll send that in an email if they're not connected with us. And if they are connected with us, I try to, as Mallory mentioned, like stack them up to a Friday, because I've found that my videos are getting viewed on Friday a lot more than any other day. So that was just a realization, and tried to make sure that the work I was putting in was actually getting viewed as much as possible.
Man, I love that. That's so smart. A lot of people, even us, I gotta admit this, I am so strict with my cadence being so rigid, in the sense that if I say this is a LinkedIn touch, I never thought like, oh, if I'm not connected on LinkedIn, I should just send it via email. I would, for some reason, think that I got to skip that. I am not the smartest guy in the room, obviously, so I'm learning a lot. This is very smart. Okay, so you try to connect. If you connected, you send it via LinkedIn, which probably has a higher open rate and view rate because it's a thing. And your messaging on LinkedIn might be something like, hey, John, we sent you something via direct mail, maybe, or whatever else. Or, hey, John, I was on your website. I was on Uber's website. I'll just keep using Uber because whatever, we use this as an example. But I was on Uber's website and saw a few things that could be relevant. I made a video for you guys. Let me know if you can, if this would be relevant for you personally, or if you can point me in the right direction to the person I need to talk to about X. It's 40 seconds. Promise it won't waste your time.
Yeah, saying the time, we've found that that's had really good click through and actually 100% view rates, because people want to know the investment they're making. And if I'm watching a video from a stranger, how much of my time is this going to take? So 42 seconds or, 61, like just be specific, and that helps.
Yeah, love it. Okay, great. So we dissected the first one, which is personalized video showing their website and what you find. Now, wait a second. Like, it's not like you're selling like Facebook ad improvements, in which case I can always go and find their Facebook ad library and see everything that I need. Like, you're selling verification of like, contractors, aka drivers or other types of jobs that might be hourly or paid on commission, Uber like, or whatever. So like, what are you looking for in that video? Like, what do you even say? Like, hey, you're hiring people, we help you hire better. Like,
we just make it as real as possible for them on how we could potentially help. Like, we're on their driver sign up page saying, hey, I see you collect driver's insurance. A lot of our partners, we're helping them save time by offloading that rather manual, tedious task. And also we'll help potentially save you some costs on background screens as well.
Oh my God. So you're going through the sign up process to be a driver. And you're figuring that out and being like, hey, when somebody wants to be a driver for Uber, they're going to do XYZ 1, 2, 3. And then I see your platform is like some generic, like Google form. So you must be verifying this manually. Let me flip screen to this other company that has everything via API. It's so much faster. Food for thought. Yeah. Up to chat. 40 seconds.
Definitely. And even so, like some of the larger prospects that we've had and had conversations with, where we're middle of the sales process trying to get them across the line, like I've become a bit of a little gig economy expert myself, aficionado, by signing up for 10 different driving companies and actually becoming the easy example is like a dasher for DoorDash or whatever it might be. Like, I've signed up and done that for a number of things because I now understand the actual requirements firsthand of what they need, what their drivers need to do.
Here's what I love about you guys and why you guys are being so successful. You act as consultants. Like, you can go to all these companies and teach them how to run their business better. Like, you personally, like Jake, like, you did not study like gig economy operations or whatever in college. Well, I hope. I maybe have,
Did
but
not.
probably not. Right? But like, nowadays you can meet with any business that has these type of workers and like give them very valuable insights that just by talking to you, they become smarter. And then they probably leave their conversation with you being like, God damn it, that Jake guy is so freaking awesome. And then when they think that, then they just want to sign up, because like, if you know so much about their business, you have something to teach them. Okay. I want to keep bringing value to the SDRs who are watching this. So let's dive deeper into a second strategy. I don't know if we're going to be able to cover all three with the emails, given that we spent so much time on this one, but let's talk about this direct mail idea. So like, what's your recommendation? Day one, I go sign up for Sendoso, pay the platform fees, and then what do I send to my clients? Or how have you guys done it so that every company can do it just like you guys have done?
Yeah. Oh, sorry, Jake, if you want to take it.
Sure. I mean, feel free to fill in wherever you feel necessary too. I mean, we kind of chatted prior to this, Mallory, like, we wanted to make sure that we weren't going to go automate this process and scale something that didn't work. We wanted to make sure it worked. So we're a pretty lean and mean team at Yardstik. Like, we're a growing, scaling in startup phase. So at the time that we sent these direct mailer kits, it was Mallory and I in the BDR seat. So we put in a lot of manual work of identifying our A+ prospects, going on Amazon, purchasing items for a spring break survival kit. We brainstormed the theme idea and tried to figure out like what would stick out, what would make sense, what kind of aligns a little bit with safety that we could send to some prospects that gets them interested in Yardstik and learning more. So we went and I've got it here. We bought some sunscreen. We bought little hydration packets. We bought pool floaties. We had some sunglasses as well. And then with that, a very, very personalized note with Yardstik branding, some explanation of each of the items with handwritten on the bottom, directing the prospects to a custom landing page via QR code. We worked with our marketing director. He was a huge help in getting those landing pages up and running for us, and getting those QR codes set up as well, using, I think, just like a free online tool. It was a lot of manual work. We sent these to 10, went down to the local post office, picked up 10 of those, manually put the addresses on, sent them out, set up a follow-up cadence in SalesLoft. And out of the 10 we sent, Mallory, correct me if I'm wrong, we've had 4 responses. We've had 1 meeting booked, and the engagement is just like off the charts. We made custom videos once again on those landing pages, and just like people are responding well to it. It's not an everyday thing.
Here's what I want to tell the audience, right? Like, maybe a lot of people just hear that and it's like 10 mailers for like 1 meeting, like whatever, too much effort. But here's the way I want people to think about it. Now that they know that this works, this is easy to scale, right? And then you can run it up to 100 accounts. What you don't want to do is day one go after 100 accounts, because if it doesn't work, you've bought 100 little tubes of like sunscreen, and that was expensive, and packaging 100 of them is like a lot of work. So like doing 10, 15, 20 and tracking results is a good idea, and they're going to learn stuff. So like, perhaps the first time you mail them, and we're talking about this, you guys just like went online and tried to look for companies like HQs and figure out like how to send it to the HQ. But for some of these, they didn't arrive and they bounced back and they were returned to you. So like, you learn something as you do it the first time with 10, and maybe the next time you do it, you just send an email first that says, we're sending you a package. This is the address we have on file. Is that correct? And if they don't respond, 3 days later, you might say, a package has been sent to this address. Please reply immediately if this address is incorrect for your receipt. I'm like, that can help. And then your delivery rate, instead of you mail 10, but 2 bounced, and out of the 8, 4 responded. It's like a 50% response rate. It's huge. And sure, 1 took a meeting, but the other 3 are engaged, and they won't forget you. And that's what we're trying to do, like wow the prospect, create a good experience. And then if at any point in the next 6, 12, 18 months, they say, man, this onboarding process for our contractors is a pain in the butt. Like, just remember, the Yarkstik guys, don't they do that? So it's a lot of like creating good relationships and farming. A relationship isn't created just by hopping on a meeting and trying to like have small talk. A relationship can be created by showing somebody you've put a lot of effort. I want to continue to dissect a little bit of that work. So process is step number 1, you get together, you say, we work on a product related to safety. Let's figure out a safety theme to send mailers. You agree that it's going to be spring break safety. Step number 2, brainstorm ideas of things you can buy that aren't ridiculously expensive, but worth buying. You go on Amazon, select a few products and order 10 of each. They all get sent to your HQ. You get there, you grab those, start putting them into packages, go online, Google everybody's mailing address. In the meantime, you got to make sure that once they receive the package, the other end will be working. So you go on their website, just like we talked about the videos that you sent to these people via LinkedIn. You created videos for the accounts that you put on a custom landing page. Now you need to build custom landing pages. Do you guys have any idea how your team built that? Like, was it just on your website? Was it using a HubSpot thing or anything like that?
Yeah, so I think HubSpot was that's what helps power our website. And I think it was a relatively easy lift for our marketing team. Like, it was a templated thing where they just had to embed different videos and switch out a few company names, and all 10 were up and running. So
quickly. Okay. And then wait a second. So you're not going to send them a URL on a piece of paper, and this is coming via direct mail. So you sent a QR code, and you're going to make sure that the website looks great on mobile, because guess what? Everybody's going to be opening it up on mobile. How'd you get a QR code that redirects to this website? Do you know what tool you used for that? Or no idea?
I don't off the top of my head. We trusted our marketing team and they delivered, I guess.
Okay.
But maybe what's a fair like workaround is there are just definitely like free QR code generators that you can get out there. And then if you just link it to the URL that you want to bring them to, Jake, I don't know if you wanted to quickly show the Alti-Sales landing page, but this is like, he'll pull up exactly what the prospect gets something in the mail or gets our package in the mail. They see the QR code, they scan it, and then it brings them directly to a landing page that looked exactly like this, but with their company's name. So he just used, what's the term, the embedded views link or something, where he was able to, put the company name in the landing page here.
Yeah. And it says book a meeting with Jake. Is that just a SalesLoft meetings link type of thing?
Yep. It brings them right to my calendar to be able to book directly with me there.
Love it. This is genius. Okay. And then below you have a little bit of a value prop. Does it say how long the video is? It doesn't.
It does not, but the emails that we would follow up with would link to this page with a thumbnail of the video. And we would typically say like, hey, here's the 50-second video, whatever it is. So
cool. Awesome. And then with that, you're good to go. And then if this works, you can start scaling it up. You can work with Alice or Sendoso or whatever other tools and like structure your different cold outbound mailer campaigns, talk to marketing, build a bunch of like landing pages. Boom.
Yeah. And I would say like something that we haven't touched on in our conversation yet is the follow-up that went into these mailers. Like, none of the people just booked a meeting without us following up. Like, a big portion of this campaign was the follow-up. So in SalesLoft, we created a cadence. It was a duration of 23 days, 7 steps, 4 emails, 2 phone calls, a LinkedIn connection request if you weren't connected already. And this is what netted the results. They responded back to the emails. They booked meetings. They clicked on the videos. They were on the landing pages. when we were following up. So like it was a massive success, and these were not small prospects by any means. So it was really encouraging.
And I just add quick too, I think the follow-up's really important. Our marketing director actually also got basically a direct mailer from some other company. And he was like, oh my gosh, amazing. This is fantastic. And he was excited to hear from them to follow up and book a meeting, but he wasn't home at the time, forgot about it, and then never ended up booking a meeting with the company that sent him a direct mailer because they never followed up. So I'd say that it's definitely important to show the extra effort of following up.
Yeah, I absolutely love this. And it's interesting. So you have 7 steps across 23 days. So day 1 is the day you send the direct mail. It'll take 2 or 3 days to get there. That's why your email one's going out on day 7. You call the next day, you LinkedIn connect the next day, you email the next day. Are these business days or calendar days? Do you know?
So it's Monday through Friday. This excludes weekends.
Correct. Okay. And then you give them a couple of days, you call again, a couple of days, you email again. Okay. This is fantastic. I think there's so much to learn for everybody. I mean, I think the future of sales development is what you guys are doing. You're a step ahead of the game, which is, it's not just about booking the meeting. Of course, booking the meeting is the end result, but like, you can't just think of your prospects as like, I'm gonna go hunt this guy and like, I'm gonna get a meeting. No, like, let's provide a great experience. Let's give them feedback. Let's like think creatively about like, what can we teach them? How can we surface a problem they might have? And how can we leave a really good impression so that even if they say, call me in 6 months, you can call in 6 months. And it's like, hey, John, I haven't sent you another piece of direct mail yet because spring break's not around the corner yet, but expected in 3 months. PS, how are all things going with your, onboarding of contractors, right? Like, you can continue to play on that idea, kind of be funny, like really build a relationship. And especially if you're in enterprise sales, it's not about booking a meeting this week for next week and closing a deal by the week after that. It's all about like, continue to provide value. So incredible job, team. I love this. I think this will give SDRs who are watching this series just enough work of like taking notes and going back and thinking, what do we need to do now to execute like this? So let's move on to, and if you want to share some of the emails later on, you want me to put them on the blog post that I usually put on LinkedIn. I'm happy to do that, Jake. I know you put some effort into that, but for the sake of time, as we're running out, I want to make sure that we talk a little bit about the tools. So you've shown a few of these. So you've shown Sales Loft is something you use, but where are you finding phone numbers, emails? How about like, I don't know, company addresses? Like what are some of the tools you use?
Yeah, for sure. So, I mean, a big spot that we're finding leads is, and like the actual people we're reaching out to, is Sales Navigator. So LinkedIn, and then finding contact information using seamless.ai. So emails, phone numbers, things like that. And then another big one is Sales Loft. There's a lot of S names on our tech stack, so get them mixed up sometimes. But Sales Loft is our sales engagement tool where we've kind of been living day in and day out a little bit. So that's a big one. And then Vidyard as well, in complement to our sales efforts.
Yeah. And Mallory, fill us in on like the target accounts and contacts. Like, have you guys built a database of like, oh, these are the accounts that we can sell to? Or like, is everybody researching like their territory? Like, is this centralized or split into each person?
Yeah, right now our territories are split up by our territories are split up by territory. So each BDR has their own region. And then we have I guess you could call them an enterprise account executive that works with our more, I guess, our larger prospects. So we meet every other week with him just to make sure, hey, what's the status on anyone finding any new large companies we want to be reaching out to. We also talk through maybe like any engagement that we've had or how our direct mailer went. So I think it's important to touch base every other week with him. But if you're working one-on-one, with your AE, it's important to over communicate, and meet with them more. But because we're kind of servicing a lot of different teams right now, we meet with them as we can. But Yeah, does that answer your question? It's a little bit of manual of,
Yeah.
hey, here's where these things are at. We've got a little list running of our top customers, but then we keep everything in Salesforce as well. So, and are very diligent with our note keeping on activity and replies and all that as well. So
Yeah, and my biggest recommendation out there for SDRs, and even for SDR leaders, is your best asset is a list of target accounts. And when I say that, I mean, too many companies make the mistake to like, oh yeah, let's put the accounts in Salesforce. And then at some point they're like, oh, we're gonna buy like Crunchbase, or we're gonna buy like blah, blah, whatever database. And they're like, oh yeah, let's dump everything into Salesforce. And then your Salesforce becomes 60% of your accounts are trash and 40 are like valuable. And out of those 40%, like 10% are really like the best like enterprise accounts, or 2% are, and there's no way to distinguish them. So like as an SDR or as an SDR leader, the biggest thing you can do is like have complete control of a database of accounts that are like excellent. And you can divide them in 3 tiers. We used to do this like very diligently, like mark tier A, tier B, tier C, and just like keep a database. So it doesn't matter if new accounts come in, like you can later on review them, but making sure you're not spending a lot of time or effort into accounts that aren't valuable is very important. And I say this not only from a SDR leadership perspective. How many times have I, as a CEO, gotten emails that was like, Tito, we provide UI, UX, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, I'm a sales development outsourcing company. What UI, UX are you going to build? There's no customer experience here. Like, it's all, like things like that. And I feel bad for the SDRs, for the marketing teams, because when I get those, I immediately block, mark spam, and throw them into my trash, and I never want to hear from them again. Well, if I get a direct mailer with sunscreen, I want to hear from you again, right? So we got to change what the feelings we're giving them. So excellent job on that. Tell me about a little bit more about like maybe some email templates. Have you built all those on your own? Like, do you provide those now to your new SDR team? Jake, how are you handling that?
Yeah, for sure. So I was the first SDR, BDR hired here at Yardstik. So prior to me being here, there wasn't a whole lot of anything on the outbound side. So it was creating the cadences, it was creating all of the templates, all of the cold call scripts, et cetera, et cetera. So I was a big portion of the messaging that exists today. And so to answer your question, for me, I created my own templates. I got second sets of eyes and things like that from leadership early on, but I was the one kind of creating and A/B testing and everything along those lines. When Mallory came on, I'm sure she used those templates to help inform and create her own version of those. She has a different flavor, a different spin on things. Not everyone's going to be the exact same using the exact same language. There are a few instances like a reply bump where this is working really well. Let's use this template for across the team. So there are instances like that, but as far as we've hired 3 new BDRs in the past couple months here. I would assume that they very much had their eyes on the templates that both Mallory and I were using, and took some tidbits from each of those to create their own personal flavor for each industry, things like that. So they have the autonomy to create their own templates. I obviously want to work with them to make sure that they're the ones that are working the best, and same with Mallory, because I mean, we've had a lot of success from the BDR seat. So we know what's been working. So helping them get their templates to the best spot they can be is how we want to help them. So does that answer the question?
Yeah, I think so. And different teams run it different ways. The way that we recommend running here at AltiSales is if you're hiring like fresh SDRs that haven't done a lot of SDR work, give him the templates and be like, use this for 2 months. This is going to benchmark your performance. From here on, you'll be able to modify on month 3. But between now and month 3, shut up and execute. This is what I kind of tell them. Because a lot of them come with like a lot of really bad ideas very quickly. And when you shut them down, they like hate it. So I tell them, put all your ideas in a notebook. We'll review this notebook in 2 months. Send me a calendar invite. Today's, call it today's May 1st. We're going to review it on July 1st. Send me a calendar invite for that. Bring your freaking notebook that day. We're going to review all that. In the meantime, you do as I say, right? And then that at least builds in like a little bit of like their performance and all that. Mallory, what's your take on like things like cold calling scripts? How do you think about those? Do you think there should be some? Do you think everybody
Yeah,
follows their own path? Like what's
I think there should be a blend of having structure, but making it your own. We actually have bi-weekly like coaching sessions as a team where like Jake has stepped in as number one SDR, whether it's email templates, voicemail scripts, cold calling, intro scripts, etc. Like if it's not broke, don't fix it, but still put your own flavor onto something. So I think that you should have like the first, as everyone knows, couple seconds, and the first, especially 15 seconds, are the most important. So we talk through like objections, we talk through how you can handle things, but get comfortable, make it your own personality. Never read from a script because no one wants to sound like a robot and no one wants to talk to a robot. But I think if you know the correct ways to handle certain things or the best way to warm someone up to an intro, we continually talk as a team of here's what's working, here's not, here's kind of like a bullet points or a structure to follow, but definitely like put your personality into it.
Yeah, and I would even add on like understanding that everyone's going to have their own preferences when it comes to calling is super important. I myself, I'm not reading word for word from a script, but I really enjoy having something on my screen that I can look back to that resembles a script to refer to on a regular basis. Whereas one of our new BDRs, I know him well. He doesn't need that. He prefers to not have that. He just wants to go in and not freestyle, but flow with the conversation and take it wherever it goes and not necessarily be tied to a script and doesn't need that. So it's unique to each BDR for what works best for them.
cool? It's exciting to hear. Obviously, you guys, we're here because you've done such an incredible job as SDRs. And now as you're evolving, you're going to be learning a lot of stuff. I'll share with the audience a couple of recommendations. You're going to find different camps here for scripts versus no scripts, how to handle different things. People like Kevin Dorsey say, everybody should have a script. Are you crazy? What do you mean you don't have a script? And he says, look at the movies. Have you ever watched a movie? Yes, you have. Do you not watch Netflix every week? Okay, cool. Like, guess what? Do you think they come up with what they're going to say on the set at that point? They say, no, everything's scripted. And it's kind of funny because it's true. It's just like, you got to be a good actor or an actress. You got to know your script, but you got to say it with passion and with like, you got to play the role. If you're sad, you got to sound sad. If you're excited, you got to sound excited. Stuff like that. So a lot of other people say, well, what if the script doesn't fit the conversation? Like for us, we don't have a strict script. We have kind of like parts of the conversation. So we help our SDRs think of any conversation as like 4 different parts. Your hello and permission-based opening, your quick pitch, your qualifying questions, and kind of like handling of, we call it alleviating concerns more than handling objections, because there aren't objections. They just have concerns. Like, it's not the right time. That's a concern. Alleviate that concern with a good thing and then close, right? So different ways to think about it. And you can help them structure. How do you respond to certain objections? And you respond very different to certain objections at different times. Hello, John, blah, blah, blah. Oh, I'm so busy. Well, that's a very different way to respond to like when you're like, how about Tuesday 10 a.m.? They're like, no, I'm so busy. Like they're saying busy to a different thing. So like, I'm busy isn't always the same generic task, right? And obviously anybody who's been in SDR for a little while understands the differences, but sometimes when you're documenting, the SDR says, oh, when they say I'm busy, you just say X, and it can't be so strict. So I'm excited for you guys to continue your journey in the sales development world. You guys have done an incredible job on the sales development side, and the future is bright. Any final thoughts for the audience? Anything else that they should know? And then finally, let us know how to get in touch with you guys if anybody has additional questions. So let's go with Mallory first.
Yeah, I'd say LinkedIn, shoot us a message, connect, follow, whatever it is. And then I would say one thing that we've been trying to do more as a team, and I hadn't done in my previous role, is like sit in and be sold too. We're the ones that are talking the best practices of how to sell or how to be a consultant through the process. But we've learned a lot by actually sitting in on demos and raising our hand to our leadership team and saying, hey, can we actually sit in on when you're evaluating Gong or Crunchbase or whatever the platform is? So we've learned a lot about how someone first reaches out to us, how they follow up, how they actually handle that discovery conversation. So that's kind of like the one tidbit that we're trying to do a lot as a team so that we're not getting tunnel vision of, oh, we know this works, it's great, but put yourself out there and like flip the table and sit in the other seat, sit in the buyer seat. So that's my last little piece I'd add.
I love that. Very good job. Jake, how about you? Last thought.
Yeah, I would second what Mallory definitely said there. Like, and one important piece of that is document your learnings from those experiences, share it with the team. And that kind of brings into a general theme that I really value. And I think sometimes in the world of sales that can be very competitive and fast paced is like, be open, be collaborative, be cooperative with your entire team. Something that both Mallory and I have done a great job at, and the new team members are too, is just like share leads with each other that are outside of your territory. Share your successes, what's working well. Raise your hand when things aren't working well. Someone might have a point of view from a cold call they made yesterday that is the exact objection that you keep facing that you can't answer the best of your ability. So like, learn from each other and teach each other all at the same time. Like, I'm really wanting to create this coaching culture and like a very collaborative environment for everybody to be very open with their successes, with things they need to work on, where they need help. And I just think that can sometimes be forgotten because sales can sometimes have this rep of it's competitive, it's cutthroat sometimes, and it doesn't have to be at all, and it shouldn't be, I would say. So add more emphasis on teamwork, collaboration, and instead of competitiveness.
Great. Awesome, guys. Thank you so much for coming to the series. It's been a pleasure having you guys. And yeah, till next time.
Thanks, Tito.
Thanks, Tito.